Okay, welcome people. Thank you for taking a look at my video for Google Calendar. We want to look at Google Calendar because it is an important and useful tool for us and our students. So this video is really going to focus on how to access the calendar and just give you a general understanding of what it's used for and how to use it. Okay, so you will notice that right here I am on the Google search engine site, right? And so I really don't have to type anything in if I'm looking for Google Calendar. All I got to do is come up here to the upper right hand corner, and you'll see this little 3x3 here. It has a technical term. I don't know what it is. Most people call it a waffle, so I will as well. So this is the waffle. And it says Google Apps, right? And so if I click it, you can see that it populates Google Apps that I use on the regular. And so Google Calendar does pop up. It's right here. If you click it, Google Calendar may not pop up because if you haven't used it before or something like that. So you can just scroll down and look for other Google apps. And so it might populate in one of these, or you might have to click here to look for it through a search. Google Calendar, easy to find, right? Well, there are other ways to access Google Calendar. So let me show you those. You'll see here I am on the Google Classroom. And here I'm in my third period classroom. And the student interface might look a little bit different. This is the teacher interface, obviously, but these should be relatively the same, right? They should have stream and they should have classwork. Okay. And again, up here at the upper right hand corner, I have the waffle again. So if I click on the waffle, notice that the same things populate and I can click on the calendar. Or if that doesn't work for me, then maybe I want to be in classwork, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing all my assignments and I know what they are and I know when they're due. And notice up here is a button for Google Calendar. So there's a button there for it already. All right, and then there is a third option if those first few don't tickle your fancy. Here we are in email. I am in my Gmail for school, right? So I'm in my school account and I'm in my spam just for a little bit of privacy. You'll notice Park is sending spam like crazy. You'll notice that the waffle is still up here. But not only is the waffle there, look at this guy right here. This is the Google Calendar right there. And so there is easy access to the calendar. Now, why is Google Calendar so accessible, right? And it's because it's so useful. And so they want to make sure that you are using it and that you're signing into it and checking it out. So I'm going to click on it now and we can take a look. Now, because I'm in my mail, it is showing me my just a quick picture snapshot of my day. Okay, and so you can see what's going on my day, and there are no other real utilities here that I can see immediately. I would have to click for them. But if I am in my classroom or in the Google and I'm using the waffle and I click the calendar, notice that it is an entire page. It's not just a little sidebar. And waiting for it. Okay, here we go. And so this is today, right? And we can see the entire day. We can see this little red line here. This little red line here is the current time. So it's showing you where you are in your day. So this thing right here is a meet that I have. So this is a virtual meeting that I had this morning. And if the red line is passed, it means that I am way too late to engage in that meeting, right? But obviously, I should know that if I already know the time. Now, if not only does Google Calendar just populate the things that you're supposed to be doing that day, right? So I have this meet, and I created an event that I wanted to do today. I wanted to reach out to parents. and maybe I'm doing that at 5 to 6, or maybe I want to do that 3 to 4, right? And so this is a reoccurring event for me. So this is just a task for me to do. I'm outreaching to parents, right? And uh, I made sure that this task is happening daily, so I scheduled it at a very specific time. But maybe today I needed to change it, so I'm just going to change it for today's event and not all of the other ones that I scheduled. So there it goes, right? I can just drag it to another time. So if you wanted to create events, you can do that as well. But not only is it a list of things to do, it is also a clickable resource. So if you take a look at this meet that I have, boom, I click on it and it gives me the link that I need in order to engage in that meeting. I can just sign into the meeting by going to my Google Classroom, clicking on that meeting, and there is the link. If I wanted to sign in by phone, then there's an option for that as well. Okay, so from the student side, this should be pretty well populated with things to do, right? There should be meetings, 3 or 4 meetings a day probably for the student side. And on top of that, assignments. The assignments that are due should also populate here. And so it will say, like, Algebra 1 assignment is due today at whatever time. And so if you click on that, then it should take you right to the classroom and take you to that assignment. Let me see if I can give you an example here. So from the teacher side, it just says, right, I have these 2 assignments here, and I didn't give a specific time. So it's just populating as, hey, these things are due today. And so if I click on that assignment, right, it'll give me a link and I can go right to that assignment. You can see it's redirecting me. And here it is. See if it'll come up. There we go. And so it takes me right to that assignment. So from the student side, it's the exact same thing. They should have all of their assignments that are due that day populated in their calendar. And all of their meetings are also populated in their calendar. You can see on this day, I had 3 virtual meetings. And so there's a separate link for each of them. And so I can get into those. These were my office hours. We were going over SAT prep on Monday. And so I had students showing up to that. But what are we doing here? What is the purpose? And I think we can all see now that this is a one-stop shop for what our students should be doing, right? So as a parent or as a student, you should be signing into Google Calendar, taking a look at what's going on that day, right? So that you can better schedule your day and know exactly what your responsibilities are. And then maybe look in the future, right? Hey, you know what? I have a busy day tomorrow because of life stuff. So let me go ahead and click on Wednesday and see what times I have available and what can I work around, right? But we are in school, and so we want to make sure that we are engaging as much as possible. So this is a place where we can identify where is our free time, where do I have to be at any given time on any given day. And so it's going to keep us all on track. It's going to keep us all engaged, and it's going to help us better serve ourselves and make sure that we are educating ourselves, staying current with our work, and better preparing ourselves for what is to come in the future. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please reach out.